wow. I didn't know you were going to do that, Jackson. That's a good way to wake everybody up. All right, welcome in on a Monday. After rivalry weekend, the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We are presented by Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kurt Jeffries and his team on Lakeland Drive. From a routine eye exam to blade-free LASIK and cataract surgery, call Eye Care Professionals. The Twitter handle at Bo Bounds and the number 601-707-3750. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. There was some really good football, starting off with the Cowboys and Redskins. And then we had some good games throughout the weekend. May not have been a good game, close game, so to speak, in Starkville, but we had some really, really good rivalry games. And yes, I'm going to get straight into the Egg Bowl. I'm sorry, Oxford. But Ohio State and Michigan was a great game. Who knew that was going to go into double OT? That was wild. For those of you traveling who were in Oxford, you may not have watched that game. But let's get into it. Mississippi State with a 35-point lead, 35-point win over the Ole Miss Rebels. And who saw that coming? Nobody. Some people are going to claim that, but
Booger saw it.
Well, I had to tell you that Booger McFarland picked Mississippi State to win because Booger McFarland felt like well, everything will be new for you today.
Right.
Because you didn't watch the games.
Correct.
But Booger McFarland did pick MSU to win because he felt like simply that Fitzgerald and Williams would run over Ole Miss. I don't think anybody expected 14 carries, 258 yards, with an average of over 18 yards per carry. And then Aries Williams, who this super smart sports talk radio show host said couldn't play SEC football, he had 25 carries for 191 yards. Total rushing 450 yards. It was absolute and total domination. Now, it was a game for a while, and that was because when Mississippi State, by the way, both teams kind of felt each other out, which surprised me that nobody scored until 7 minutes and 43 seconds in the first quarter. I actually thought that Ole Miss would zoom down the field in either their first or second possession and put up some points. Right now, I'm looking at it. We're watching the game again. It's 10-6. Ole Miss with 3:56 left to go in the first quarter. Ole Miss doesn't score again for a while because at one point it's 27-10. So MSU rips off 21 points. And if Freeze doesn't call the fake punt, who knows? It ended up as a blowout either way. But Mississippi State, once they got down 3-0. Then they went 6-3 and missed the PAT. Then Ole Miss comes back and scores to make it 10-6. And that's when MSU scores again, and they never relinquished the lead, although Ole Miss would cut it to 27-20. And the reason why they did is because Freeze had to do something. It was a really good play call. And he called the fake punt. And boom, it worked. And Ole Miss, at least the momentum shifted. Okay, I don't know if it totally got away from MSU, but it definitely shifted into onto the Rebel side.
It began to tilt. You never ever thought that Mississippi State relinquished control of that ball game. Not if you were sitting there.
Well,
at
27-20.
At 27-20, I expected Nick Fitzgerald to run up the middle again.
I guess you didn't think that they would stop scoring.
No, right.
Unless Dan got cute and wanted to throw the ball, which you want to do early in those first couple of possessions. That didn't make any sense.
Right.
But
which I also never doubt from Dan.
Yeah, and he eventually 457 yards rushing. They committed to running it. It was 55-20. That's what's going to count at the end of the day. But the bottom line is when Mississippi State went up 17 points in the first half, Ole Miss had to do something, so they countered with the fake punt. They score a couple of times going into halftime. They know Mississippi State has the football. MSU comes out and goes 3 and out, and then as Drew mentioned, maybe at that point the play, because you have several plays of the game. Early it was MSU running the football, getting the early lead. Fitzgerald and Williams ripping off runs. Then it was the Ole Miss fake punt. Then in the second half, as Drew talked about, I thought it was the 4th and 1.
That's when you could feel
y'all were both there,
was the gut
so y'all
punch.
talk to me.
The stadium deflated.
Jackson mentioned that State never relinquished momentum, which is true, but you could feel it turning
Yeah.
Well,
coming
it
into
was definitely,
halftime, coming
absolutely.
out of halftime when Ole Miss got a 3 and out. Ole Miss is driving the field, and then they go for a 4th and 1 at the MSU 17, which
You get points there, 27-23.
You get
It's
points.
easy for me.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I was kind of thinking at the time he probably should have kicked it.
I think everyone in there was believing he should have kicked that ball.
You make it 27-23, and you just stopped them before that. Now, were you going to stop them the rest of the game? I don't know. That was another possession as I'm watching. Ole Miss up 10-6, first quarter, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Mullen put in Holloway. It just totally broke the rhythm, but then Fitzgerald goes for 70-something yards right there around the end.
But it also did feel like, at least early in the second half, that Ole Miss was going to play better run defense just because they had DeMarcus Gates back for that half, which, the first drive, you stopped them 3 and out.
Right.
So you kind of felt like you may have something there. But then that 4th and 1 stop, and then
It was over.
Katie barred the door.
It was over. Yeah, it was over from there, and Mississippi State ripped off several touchdowns. What if I would have told you guys that MSU would shut Ole Miss out in the second half, that they wouldn't score 1 point?
Yeah, I'd have bet the house against you.
Yeah.
Not a single point.
Arkansas did not punt against Mississippi State, and MSU held Ole Miss to 0, a goose egg, in the second half.
We talk about Arkansas being Jekyll and Hyde. Are we missing here? Is Mississippi State that?
I think every team is after watching Rivalry Week this weekend. Yeah. I think just about everybody in college football is Jekyll and Hyde. I think it's safe to say that. Even top 10 teams. I was watching these teams this weekend, and one week they're really good. The next week you wonder if they practiced all week. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Obviously, A&M got smoked by LSU. Vanderbilt decides to beat Tennessee. What's Missouri doing after Arkansas smoked Mississippi State? Arkansas makes Drew Lock look like Drew Brees. Is that his name, Drew Lock? Yeah. I watched a lot of that game, believe it or not, just because they were scoring. It was entertaining. This is Dan Mullen on what does it feel like bringing the Egg Bowl home for the first time in 2 years.
Well, it's awesome. You know what? It is awesome. This is my 8th time playing in this game. I'm not going to say it's the biggest win. I'm not going to say it's low. Every time you win it, it's awesome. Every time you lose it, it's awful. And because it sticks with you. You know what I mean? It sticks with you. So just what an unbelievable feeling to come in, to get that win, bring that trophy back to Starkville. For all our fans, for everybody, I know it's, this game means so much to all of the fans, to everybody in Mississippi. So it's so huge. I'm so happy to get that win for all the Bulldog fans. They've believed in us. I've been here for 8 years, and people have believed in what we've tried to do, what we've tried to build. As I've said, we've raised expectations here pretty high, but I'm just thrilled that we get to bring that trophy home to Starkville for all of them.
Yeah, to say he's raised expectations, it's an understatement.
They're going to another bowl game. What do y'all think about that? Because of all the bowls, Drew was the first one on this in the state of Mississippi 4 weeks ago. And he said, what if Mississippi State finishes 5-7 and can go to a bowl game? Let's discuss that on the other side and why Mullen is like a cockroach. I've got a good take on that. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention another play, and a listener just reminded me. The Peters pick in the end zone. Drew mentioned it early. Drew, real quick.
I mean, we mentioned it pre-show. It was a big turning point. It was 20-10. Ole Miss driving.
And that could have been 2017 if Adebayo goes up and gets the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought Drew made a great point.
Peters wanted it more.
Yeah.
I mean, Adebayo didn't make a play on it at all.
No.
Just watched him.
That's 2017 if Adebayo. Well, first of all, if it's better thrown, but just slightly. But if Adebayo goes and gets the ball, it's a better thrown ball. All right, we're live in the BankPlus studio. We welcome you in. Good morning. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I ate too much. Had to work out Saturday and Sunday. I mean, I pigged out. We had Thanksgiving on Thursday and then Saturday brunch, and it was unbelievable. I hope you all had some wonderful food and had a great time with friends and family and watched a lot of college and NFL. I know I did. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, is brought to you by the Pro Coat Spray and Bedliners at RPT and Rick's Pro Truck, I-55 South. Lakeland Drive, Flowood. That is the Pro Coat Spray and Bedliners at RPT and Rick's Pro Truck, straight ahead while Mullen is like a